There's a big difference between testing and tempting. To test is a measure of checking if a substance is good, like you want to check the quality of that substance, if it's good or if it's reliable. And why tempting? Tempting is persuading somebody to do something that the person finds attractive, whereas it's unwise to do that or it's wrong to do it. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Crowned with Glory, where we know that God is not a nuisance, and indeed he is not a nuisance. So today I'm going to be talking about the test of obedience. I think it's a very important topic to to talk on as believers, because at each point in our life we're going to be tested by God. At each point of our journey, God is going to test us, and it is necessary for us to be tested by him. My last video I talked about the cost of disobedience, and I talked about how costly it is for us to be disobedient to God, and I'm going to put the link to that video on the description box, so please do it to watch the video if you have not watched it. So right now to our topic, which is test of obedience. Like I said earlier, as a child of God, every true child of God is going to be tested by God at every point of our journey. I'm going to be talking about our father Abraham. And Abraham at a very, very old age, he had not yet gotten a child. And Sarah, she was very, very old, and everybody knows that biologically speaking, it is not possible for her to give birth at that age. But we trust God, the God of supernatural, he made her to give birth. Yeah. So when he finally gave birth to his only son, as God used to call Isaac, his only son Isaac. God told him, okay, you know what, Abraham, carry this your son, your only son, in quotes, your only son, and take it to this place that I will show you. Go and sacrifice him there to me and everything. And you see, Abraham just like willingly stood up, and he went to that mountain and he went to sacrifice his son. But we know that he did not sacrifice him because God provided a lamb there. But what is so striking is Abraham's obedience. Like, if you read that Genesis 22 verse 16 to 18, you see that God said something. He said that because you have obeyed me, I am going to bless you and everything. And for every obedience we take in, there's a blessing that is tied to it. It is not easy at all. Like, this test of obedience is not easy, but God just have to test us. And something that God does not test us to bring us down, or to make us see our flaws in anything. No, that's not the reason why God tests us. Actually, God tests us to confirm and to strengthen us. If we are being tested by God, it increases our faith. Eventually, when we pass the test, it increases our faith. Okay, for instance, now when we're in school and everything, we often write exams and write tests, and anytime you pass your exam, what happens? You are promoted to the next class, the next level. That's what happens. So that is just how it is with God. Okay, you tell God, I love you, God, there's nothing I will not do for you, and God is like, okay, I'm going to take you by your word. So he's going to test us to see if actually we'll live by that word. And testing is not it's not temptation. God never tempts. It's the devil that tempts us. So testing is not about bringing us down or corrupting us or anything. No, testing is actually to strengthen us. And a very important thing to know is that the time of testing is a time to remember all that God has taught you. God would never test you if he has not prepared you for that thing. He will always test you when he knows that he has prepared you for that particular thing. Okay, imagine for instance now, our lecturer teaching us in school and everything, maybe they taught us on a particular topic, and writing the test, he brings out that topic. He expects you to remember all that he has taught you about that topic. That's how it is with God. When God is testing us, he expects you to, okay, who has God been to you? Okay, you know that, okay, I know that I don't have much this period, but I know that my God is a provider. You start remembering things about God, and that is going to help you. And even the time that he's testing, he's still with you there. He never leaves us. The word of God says that even in the fire and the water, he's going to be there with us. Even in the trying times, he is going to be there with us. He never leaves us at all. And this test of obedience is not a phase that we can ever pass at all. As believers, we are going to experience this phase. And maybe some of us were in that phase of our life when everything seems tough. It seems like God is not there, or maybe God is telling you, let go of this relationship, let go of this, or let go of that, but we're finding it very, 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 very hard. Even Abraham, he had to let go of his son, and what happened? because of his willingness to obey him, God made him the father of many nations. There are so many things that we are withdrawing from God, like we don't want God to take this, and God saying, lay it down for me. And we're saying no. We're saying no. It's it's hard, but when we eventually let go, God is going to surprise us. Every obedience is attached to a blessing. If you remove your focus from the blesser, you will lose the blessing eventually. So while some of us were at that phase that God is taking us through this test of obedience, wanting to know, okay, if what we have said with our words, if we actually mean it. And on one thing that I know that testing does, testing brings out our true character. That is something I know. What Okay, during that testing period, what is your attitude during that testing period? Okay, see now, we partake in a test or something, and the pass mark for that test is 70 over 100, and you eventually get 80. You'll be like, okay, this is an excellent remark. And you get 50, and like, okay, this is just a fair remark. And you get like 65, and like, okay, this is, a good remark. So that is just how it is with God. When he's testing us, and the outcome of it, the result of it, it's actually like, okay, God says, let go of this car, and you actually let go. God is like, okay, he's actually true to his word, that he said that there's nothing he cannot give me. But eventually God is saying, let go of that job. I don't want you to take this job. Take so job. I'm like, no, God, I must take this job. God just be like, oh, actually, indeed, there is nothing that this my son, this my daughter said that there is nothing he or she cannot give me, but he's not letting go of this job. That's just something about testing. Testing actually brings out our true character. God uses testing to confirm if we are actually faithful to him and everything. He actually does that to strengthen us as well. And another thing we should know, testing is an opportunity for us to grow our faith. Testing, like now, just like our subject of the day, Abraham, when God told him that he should go and sacrifice his son, and he actually he went to do that. When he raised the knife up to sacrifice his child, that's when he heard the voice of the angel saying that, Abraham, do not lay your hand on that child. But seeing that God actually provided for him, and God did not take his son away, it actually boosted his faith. I'm very sure that there is nothing that God will tell Abraham that Abraham no will believe. Even in the book of Hebrews, you can see that he was accounted because of his faith. It actually increased his faith. So that's something that God does to us. This testing period is not a period that God hates us. No. So if you are noticing that that's the state that you are in, like you find that God is testing you on some areas, it's not the time to give up. It's a time to wait on him. It's time to stay there. Stay there and wait on him. Remember all that he has taught you, and you apply it in that phase that you are now, and you're going to come out strong. Nobody that ever obeys God, nobody that ever passes this testing phase ever regrets it. No, it boosts you up, and it's your boosting up also helps others. You have gone through, okay, you have gone through this thing. It's also an opportunity to tell someone, okay, this is what happened between me and God. This was how God took me through this phase, and this was the attitude that I put. This was what I experienced. It's actually like you are helping others too, because there are so many people. Let me see, for instance, now you have gone through that past testing phase, and you were able to go through it very well, and somebody beside you, somebody close by is going through that phase. You can help out that person. You can tell the person, okay, this was what I did, and this was what I did not do. So it's actually strengthened others as the way it also strengthens you. There's one thing that is very, very important, and I would love to say, during the period of testing of what God is telling you to let go, it is very important who you tell the instruction that God tells you to do. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. When God told Abraham, take your son, your only son, go and sacrifice him, the Bible did not record that he told Sarah. Assuming he told Sarah, we all know that Sarah wouldn't have allowed him. If it was me, Sha, that my husband, let me say, I've been barren for like over 90 years of my life, and you tell me that this son that God has given me, I should go and sacrifice him, I should kill him. Me, I will not allow my husband, my only son, my only child, you want me to go and sacrifice. If it's me speaking for myself, I don't think I would have allowed him, to sacrifice my son. But Abraham was very, very careful. There are some things that God has told us to do. Maybe God has even told us that this specific amount of money, give it to the church for this purpose. And you'll be like, ah, okay. You just be like, let me just go and get confirmation. You go and meet somebody and tell the person, okay, see what God is saying. Oh, God said I should do this. And the person be like, that's not from God though. How will God tell you to do this now? What will you now go and use to what will you use to eat? You know that you have been saving up for so this thing, and you now want to go and give to the church. What, as in, it will not make sense to that person, but it's between you and God. So you have to be wise. You have to, use wisdom. It's not everything that God tells you to do that you tell somebody, because some people around you, they are actually destiny aborters. God can give you an instruction sharp, and that thing is meant to elevate you to your next phase, but because you were not wise and you told somebody this particular thing that God told you, the person can make that this thing be aborted. Like, it can actually abort the blessing because of that your act of telling that person, and that will not be good. That will not be good. So I want you to always remember that this testing period of your life is not the phase. It's not a phase that you should take as if God hates you or anything. No, it's actually a phase to strengthen us. And always remember that the always remember that there is a blessing attached to every obedience, every act of obedience that you take. So that's the end of today's episode, and please do it to subscribe. Please share to your friends and to your family. Please also like this video, and do it to leave a comment on the comment section. Thank you. Till we see again, stay blessed. Bye.